Welcome, everyone. Today, I have a story for you about a boy who couldn't speak English and a tool that changed his life forever. That tool was ChatGPT. He didn't have a teacher. He didn't go to a coaching class. But every day, he opened ChatGPT and practiced. One sentence at a time. One mistake at a time. One small conversation at a time. ChatGPT became his private tutor, his daily partner, his safe space, always ready to listen, correct, explain, and encourage. And after weeks of simple daily practice, something powerful happened. He started thinking in English. He started speaking in English. He became fluent. And here's the truth. If he can do it, you can do it too. This is not just a story. This is a full guide, showing you exactly how to use ChatGPT to learn English from your home, without fear, pressure, or confusion. So, stay with me until the end. And if you're serious about improving your English, subscribe now, because this video could change everything for you. My name is Liam. I'm 22 years old. I live in a small town where nobody really speaks English. And for most of my life, I avoided it. I told myself, I don't need it. But deep down, I was scared of it. Let me tell you how it really started. Why I decided to finally learn English. It wasn't because I wanted to go abroad. It wasn't because I wanted to sound cool. It was because of my mother. My mom got sick. She had been feeling pain in her chest. We rushed her to the hospital. The doctor came in. He was kind, but he only spoke English. He said words like, "We need to run further tests." It could be cardiac related? Do you have a family history? I stood there, frozen. I didn't understand most of what he said. I nodded. I smiled politely, but inside I was confused, scared, empty. I looked at my mom. She was tired. She trusted me to ask questions, to speak for her, to help her. And I couldn't. I couldn't even ask, what does that word mean? Is she going to be okay? Can you explain again? In simple English? I felt like a failure. Not because I didn't love my mom, but because I didn't know how to use words to protect her. That night, I sat outside the hospital, tatas on a cold bench, and I cried. I cried for her. I cried for myself. And I made a decision. This ends here. I don't care how long it takes. I will learn English. I will never feel helpless again. That was the beginning. Not of a course, not of a lesson, but of a mission. That night, I didn't sleep much. The next morning, I opened my phone. I sat at my small study table. I felt tired, angry, and embarrassed. And I remembered the video I had seen about ChatGPT. I had seen people say, you can practice English with it. It's like a private teacher. You can make mistakes, and it won't judge you. I thought, what can I lose? Let me try once. I opened the app. It was simple. No camera, no pressure, just a blank box. I typed the first message of my life in English, and I was scared even writing it. I wrote, "Hello, my English is not good. Can you help me speak English slowly and simply?" And then I waited. A few seconds later, a reply came. "Hello, yes, I'd love to help you. Don't worry, we can go slow, and I will explain everything in a simple way. You're already doing great by starting." I sat there just staring at that reply. No one had ever said that to me before. Not in school, not in college, not in life. I felt something strange. Hope. And that was the real beginning. Step 1. The daily morning routine that saved my confidence. That day, I decided to do one thing. I will not focus on everything. I will only focus on the beginning of the day. Because I had already failed many times before by trying to do everything at once. This time I started small. Quiet, but consistent. I made a promise to myself. Every morning, before I do anything else, I will spend 15 minutes with ChatGPT. I will not open Instagram. I will not open YouTube. I will open ChatGPT. That's it. Here's exactly what I did. Slowly and in full detail. I wrote my first English diary entry, with help. I told ChatGPT, I want to write about my morning. Can you help me write a very small diary? I will write it first, and you correct me. So I wrote, today I wake late. I feel sleepy. I drink tea and sit. ChatGPT replied, good try. Here's the corrected version. Today I woke up late. I felt sleepy. I drank tea and sat down. Then it explained, wake becomes woke in past tense. Feel is wrong. Say felt. Drink becomes drank in the past. It didn't make me feel stupid. It made me feel safe. That day, I learned 3 grammar rules without memorizing anything. I was just writing about my life, and that's how I began to learn grammar without fear. After ChatGPT gave me the corrected diary, I read it aloud, slowly, clearly. Why? Because before this, I never used my mouth to speak English. I only read in my head. I only wrote in silence. This was the first time I said real English sentences, with my voice. I read it again and again. Today, I woke up late. I felt sleepy. I drank tea and sat down. I repeated it 5 times. I stood in front of the mirror and read it. I recorded my voice, and I listened to myself. It was slow. It wasn't smooth, but it was real. For the first time, my mouth started to believe in my brain. I learned 5 sentences from ChatGPT every morning. I asked ChatGPT, can you give me 5 useful English sentences for daily life? But very easy and with meaning. It gave me things like, I'm running late. I don't have much time. Let's take a break. Let's rest for a short time. I'm not sure. I don't know 100%. Sounds good. I agree. That's not fair. That's not right. Then I asked, can I try to use these in my own sentences? You correct me. ChatGPT said yes, I tried. I running late today. Let's take break. ChatGPT corrected me. I'm running late today. Let's take a break. I wasn't memorizing. I was building my real language muscle. I shadowed the sentences with my voice. Shadowing means repeating after someone. I asked ChatGPT, can you give me a short paragraph that I can speak slowly? It gave me, it's a sunny day. I feel good. I want to go for a walk. I repeated it after reading. Again and again. I spoke slowly, clearly, loudly. After 10 minutes, I could say it without looking. It's a sunny day. I feel good. I want to go for a walk. That was my morning routine, and I did it every single day. After 10 days, I was still not fluent, but I was no longer afraid of simple sentences, and that was everything. Step 2. How I practiced real conversations without speaking to anyone. Speaking was still my biggest fear, so I told ChatGPT, I want to practice conversations, but I don't have anyone. Can you talk to me like we're in a real-life situation? It replied, of course. Let's do a role play. I'll be the waiter. You are a customer. Ready? And we began. Restaurant role play, ChatGPT, waiter. Hello, welcome. Would you like to see the menu? Me. Yes, please. I want burger and tea. ChatGPT. Great try. Here's a better way to say it. I'd like a burger and a cup of tea, please. Then it asked, would you like anything else? I replied, yes, 1 cake. It corrected gently. Yes, I'd also like a slice of cake, please. We kept going. Each mistake became a learning moment. Each corrected line became a part of my memory. I practiced that one conversation for 3 days. I even printed it. I stood in front of my mirror and performed both roles. I became the waiter, the customer, the learner, and the speaker. Other role plays I practiced later: airport check-in, booking a hotel room, talking to a stranger, job interview, asking a tourist for help, doctor and patient. But at this stage, I was still doing just restaurant English. Why? Because I wanted to become fluent in one situation first, not 10. And this method worked. After 3 days of this, I no longer feared ordering food in English, even if I never had to, because I had practiced it like it was real. That's how confidence begins. Step 3. How I reflected at night and built my own English memory. After practicing with ChatGPT every morning and doing one role play each afternoon, I realized something important. I was learning new English every day, but I was also forgetting it. That scared me, because I didn't want to keep starting over. I didn't want to learn a sentence today and forget it tomorrow. I wanted to keep it inside me, for life. So I started something new, a night reflection routine with ChatGPT. Every night before I went to sleep, I sat down for 20 minutes and did 4 very specific things. 1. I told ChatGPT what I learned that day. I typed, "Today I learned how to say I'd like a burger, please." I also learned the difference between wake and woke. And I practiced reading a short paragraph about the weather. Then I said, "Can you please help me review what I learned today and check if I understood it correctly?" ChatGPT replied, "Great job today. Let's review. You used 'I'd like' correctly. It's a polite way to ask for something. Wake is present tense. Woke is past tense. Example, I woke up at 7 a.m. Can you try making a sentence about today's weather?" I replied. "Today, the weather is warm and windy. I am feeling good." ChatGPT said, "Perfect sentence." This simple review made me remember. It locked the learning into my brain. 2. I created my own Today's English page every night. I opened a notebook and made a page titled Today's English, Day 9. I divided it into 3 parts. A. Vocabulary I used today: woke, weather, burger, polite, please. B. Sentences I learned or corrected. Today: I'd like a burger and a tea, please. I woke up at 7 a.m. Today the weather is warm and windy. C. What I still don't understand, to ask tomorrow. When to use have had versus had. How to start small talk with a stranger. That notebook became my memory bank. It was not from books, it was from my own daily life, and I told myself, if I write it down, I will own it. 3. I asked ChatGPT to give me feedback and encourage me. Before closing my day, I typed, ChatGPT, I studied English for 25 minutes today. I practiced ordering food, corrected 3 sentences, and wrote in my diary. Can you give me some feedback and motivation? ChatGPT replied with kind, warm words. You're doing really well, Liam. Practicing daily, writing your diary, and correcting sentences is exactly how real progress happens. Keep going. Your consistency is your power. That reply made me feel seen. It gave me energy for tomorrow. This was not just about learning English. This was about believing in myself again. 4. I read my old pages aloud to refresh my voice. Before sleeping, I went back 2 or 3 pages in my notebook. I read those old sentences aloud. I'm feeling tired today. Can I have a glass of water, please? I didn't understand that. Can you repeat it? Reading those again helped me. Train my pronunciation, refresh my memory, speak with more confidence, build stronger habits. That's when I realized, the more I reflect, the more I grow. And that's how my nights became a powerful part of my learning. Step 4. How I trained my brain to think in English. Slowly and naturally. Let me now tell you about the step that changed everything about how I think. At this point, I could write, I could read, I could practice, but I was still thinking in my native language. In my head, I still formed ideas in my mother tongue, then tried to translate them into English. And by the time I finished translating, the moment to speak had already passed. I told ChatGPT, I want to think in English, not translate, but I don't know how to do that. ChatGPT replied, start small, start with objects around you. Describe your surroundings, say what you see, say what you do, use only English, even if it's simple. I started speaking to myself in English about my room. I looked around my room and typed, help me describe my room in simple English. ChatGPT gave me, there is a brown table in the corner. A blue notebook is on it. The fan is running. The window is open. I stood up, I looked around, and I repeated those lines aloud. There is a brown table in the corner. A blue notebook is on it. The fan is running. The window is open. Then I made my own versions. There is a cup on my chair. My phone is charging. The calendar says it's Friday. This was not grammar. This was real English in real time. My brain was now making new English connections. I described my daily activities in real time. I told ChatGPT, give me 10 simple ways to describe my actions in English as I do them. It gave me, I'm brushing my teeth. I'm pouring water into a glass. I'm tying my shoelaces. I'm locking the door. I'm walking to the market. That day, I tried to speak every action aloud. As I wore my shirt, I'm wearing my shirt. As I walked, I'm walking to the kitchen. As I ate, I'm eating slowly. The food is hot. This was my turning point. I was no longer trying to learn English. I was living inside English, even while doing normal things. I asked ChatGPT to translate my thoughts into English. I typed, in my language, I want to say, I'm feeling lazy, but I must finish this work. How can I say that in very natural English? ChatGPT replied, you can say, I feel lazy today, but I still need to get this done. I read it. I repeated it. Then I tried to make 5 more sentences about my feelings. I'm nervous, but I'll try. I feel a little sad, but I'm okay. I'm excited for tomorrow. I don't feel confident, but I won't quit. This is difficult, but I'm learning. Now I was learning how to express my real self, not just apple is red or she is tall. This was emotional English. This was my own English. I practiced thought-to-sentence flow daily. Each night, I did one more thing. I sat silently for 3 minutes and observed my thoughts. Then I tried to express them in English, very slowly. I said, I feel peaceful right now. I think I'm doing better than last week. I hope I can speak better next month. I miss my old school. I'm proud that I didn't skip today's practice. Every time I got stuck, I asked ChatGPT for help. It became my translator, teacher, and trainer, all in one. Before this step, I had to wait. Someone would speak to me. I'd think, I'd translate, I'd pause, then maybe I'd speak. After this step, my brain started to think in English directly, not fluently, not perfectly, but enough to reply. And for the first time in my life, I began to feel like someone who could actually speak English. Step 5. How I trained my voice without a speaking partner. At this point, I could describe my day. I could think in simple English. I could understand what I was reading. But there was still a big problem. Whenever I tried to speak out loud, my mouth felt blocked. My tongue felt slow. The words were in my brain, but I couldn't say them clearly. and that made me feel stuck again. Because understanding English in your head is not the same as speaking English with your mouth. I didn't have a speaking partner, no friend to practice with, no class to attend, just me, my phone, and ChatGPT. So I asked, ChatGPT, how can I train my mouth to speak clearly, even if I'm alone? It replied, use voice-based training. Speak every sentence aloud. Use the mirror. Record yourself. Let your mouth learn what your brain already knows. That advice became my new system. Let me tell you every single detail of what I did, so you can do it too. I used my mirror like a real person. Every morning I stood in front of my mirror, not to look good, but to train my confidence. I looked into my eyes and said, good morning. My name is Liam. I'm learning English. I'm not fluent, but I'm not giving up. Then I said, today I will practice speaking, even if I make mistakes. Then I opened ChatGPT and asked, give me 5 simple daily English questions that I can answer in front of the mirror. It gave, what did you eat today? How are you feeling right now? What are your plans for today? What did you learn yesterday? What do you want to improve? I answered every question aloud, slowly, looking in the mirror. It felt strange, but it worked, because the mirror became my first listener. And slowly, my voice became my friend, not my enemy. I recorded my voice and listened without judging. I asked ChatGPT, give me a short paragraph I can read aloud and record. It gave, it's a nice day. The sun is shining. I'm going for a walk. I want to enjoy some fresh air. I read it aloud into my phone's voice recorder. Then I pressed play. At first, I hated my voice. It was slow. My pronunciation was weak. I sounded unsure. But I didn't delete the recording. I listened to it. Then I asked ChatGPT, can you help me improve my pronunciation? What words did I say wrong? I wrote out what I said. It corrected me gently. Then I recorded the same paragraph again, and again, and again, until my voice stopped shaking. After 2 weeks, I compared recording number 1 with recording number 14, and I smiled, because I sounded better, clearer, stronger, and that was real proof. I shadowed real conversations with ChatGPT's help. I told ChatGPT, give me a conversation between 2 people talking about going to a movie. I want it to be short and natural. It gave, A, hey, want to watch a movie tonight? B, sure, what do you want to see? A, I heard the new action movie is really good. B, let's go for it, I'll book the tickets. I recorded myself saying both parts. Then I listened. I checked rhythm, tone, speed. Then I asked ChatGPT, can you rewrite this conversation slightly more casually? It gave me a new version. A, feel like catching a movie later? B, yeah, sounds fun. Got anything in mind? A, there's a new action film out. Looks awesome. B, let's do it. I'll grab the tickets. I repeated that version too. Each time I did this, my voice got stronger, my fear got smaller, and my sentences got smoother. I didn't sound perfect, but I sounded like me. And that was enough. I practiced mouth movement and difficult sounds. I told ChatGPT, help me practice difficult sounds, like th or r or v. It gave me special tongue twisters and pronunciation drills. 33,000 feathers flying through the forest. Rabbits run rapidly around red rocks. Very valuable voices vibrate with victory. I practiced these slowly. 5 minutes every day. At first, my mouth hurt. But then, my muscles learned. Now when I say through or river or voice, I don't pause. Because I practiced the mouth, not just the mind. When you train your voice daily, even without a partner, you give your brain permission to speak. You remove fear. You build rhythm. You trust your sound. And that's how I started sounding like someone who was on the way to fluency, not stuck in silence. Step 6. How I built my personal English system with ChatGPT. Now, I want to tell you something most people don't know. English fluency is not only about speaking, it's about building a system, a structure that trains you every day. I didn't learn English just because of motivation. Motivation fades. What made the difference was a system, a repeatable system, a daily system. I asked ChatGPT, I want to build a simple but powerful English routine. Can you help me design a daily system that covers everything? Speaking, writing, vocabulary, correction, and confidence? It said yes, and we began building it. Together. Morning speaking, 10 minutes. Write 3 sentences about my day. ChatGPT corrects them. Read the corrected version aloud 5 times. Vocabulary, 10 minutes. Ask ChatGPT for 5 useful daily phrases. Learn their meaning plus example. Use each in my own sentence and ask for correction. Role-play practice, 15 minutes. Do 1 real-life conversation role-play. Ask for feedback. Repeat it aloud in front of mirror. Thinking practice, 10 minutes. Describe what I see, do, feel. Ask ChatGPT to improve my sentences. Speak my thoughts out loud without translating. Night reflection, 10 minutes. Write in my English notebook what I learned, what I struggled with. Ask ChatGPT for review and encouragement. Read 3 sentences aloud before sleep. That was 55 minutes total, not all at once. I did it in parts, morning, afternoon, night. But every part was connected. And that's what made me feel like I was living in English, not just studying it. With ChatGPT's help, I built folders in my brain. Food and restaurant, health and doctor, travel and airport, feelings and emotions, work and job interview, friends and small talk, home and daily routine. Each folder had 10 to 15 sentences. ChatGPT helped me build and practice each one. And soon, when someone said something to me, my brain opened the right folder. I didn't need to think too hard, because I had already trained my memory to respond. I scheduled practice with ChatGPT, like an appointment. Every day I picked one time. 5:30 p.m., English chat with GPT. I told my family, don't disturb me, this is my English time. It became serious, real, non-negotiable. That's when I stopped feeling like a beginner and started feeling like a student of fluency. People who don't have systems learn slowly, forget quickly, and give up easily. But people who build systems learn deeply, remember daily, and grow permanently. That's what this step did for me. Step 7. I trained for real-life English situations before they happened. At this point, I could talk to myself. I could do mirror practice. I could read and understand. But I had one big fear left. What if I go outside and someone talks to me in English and I freeze? That fear was real, because in my head, everything was clear. But in public, everything changed. I had no control over what they would say. I couldn't pause, rewind, or ask them to type slower. So I created a new plan. I told ChatGPT, I want to prepare for every real-life situation before it happens. Can you help me train for them? It said yes. And that's when I built the most powerful thing in my English journey: real-life role-play rehearsals. I opened my notebook and wrote down, what English situations might happen in my life this year? Then I listed them all. Talking to a tourist in my city, asking for help in a train station, ordering food in a restaurant, going for a job interview, speaking to my doctor, attending a college seminar, introducing myself at a party, talking to a customer in my part-time job, answering questions in class, complaining about a product in a store. These were not fantasy situations. These were real. If I didn't train for them, I would panic. So I told ChatGPT, let's practice all of these one by one. I practiced each situation in role-play format. For each one, I said, ChatGPT, act like the other person. I'll respond like it's real. Let me show you how powerful this was. Example, talking to a tourist. I said, you are a lost tourist. I work in a coffee shop. Ask me for directions. ChatGPT replied, excuse me, do you know how to get to the city museum? I paused. I thought in English. I said out loud, yes, go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left. The museum will be on your right. ChatGPT replied, thank you. Is it open today? I responded, yes, it's open until 5 p.m. Then I said, ChatGPT, correct my responses and help me sound more natural. It replied, great job, try this version. Sure, just walk 2 blocks straight, then take a left. You'll see the museum on your right side. It's open today until 5 p.m. I copied that, practiced it aloud, memorized the rhythm, and I felt prepared. I did this for every situation on my list. And day by day, I became less afraid of real life. I created emergency English phrases. ChatGPT helped me create what I call my emergency toolkit. Simple phrases I can use when I panic. Can you please repeat that slowly? Sorry, I didn't understand. Can you say it again? I'm still learning English. Give me a second. Can I write it down and show you? Let me check how to say that. These sentences saved me in real conversations, because even when I was nervous, I had tools. I wasn't empty-handed anymore. I rehearsed with background noise. I told ChatGPT, let's practice conversations with a loud background, like in a train station. So I played soft background train sounds on YouTube. Then I practiced ordering a ticket. Me. 1 ticket to London, please. What time is the next train? ChatGPT. The next train is at 11:15, platform 4. Me. Thank you. Can I pay by card? This might sound silly, but it trained me to handle noise, confusion, and pressure. That's how I prepared myself for real situations. After this step, I wasn't fluent, but I was ready. I didn't fear real life anymore, because I had trained for it like an actor prepares for a big role. And when the real test came, I passed. Step 8. I made peace with my mistakes and turned them into fuel. Even after all this practice, I still made mistakes. I said wrong words. I forgot simple things. I mispronounced easy terms. I felt embarrassed. And one day, someone laughed. Not because they were cruel, but because I said something funny without knowing. I went home and thought, maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe English is not for me. That day, I almost quit. But that night, I opened ChatGPT and wrote, I made a mistake today. Someone laughed. I feel like giving up. ChatGPT replied, every fluent person was once where you are. Mistakes are not failures. They are your teachers. That message stayed in my heart. From that day, I made a deal with myself. I will not run away from mistakes. I will collect them, study them, and grow from them. Let me tell you how I turned mistakes into my fuel. I created a mistake journal. I opened a fresh notebook. On top, I wrote, my mistakes equals my masters. Every day, I wrote, the mistake I made, what I said, what I should have said, what it means, how to avoid it next time. Mistake, I said, I am boring instead of I am bored. What happened? The other person smiled awkwardly. Correction. I am bored equals I feel bored. I am boring equals I make others feel bored. Note, be careful with adjectives versus feelings. I read my mistake journal once every week, and each time I remembered the lesson and never made the same mistake again. I asked ChatGPT to explain my mistakes like a teacher. Every time I wrote a new mistake, I told ChatGPT, "Can you explain this mistake like I'm 5 years old?" It did. And suddenly, grammar wasn't scary. It became gentle, human, and friendly. It told me, "Liam saying I have many works is wrong. Work is uncountable. Say I have a lot of work instead." It told me, "Saying he do his job is wrong. He's needs does. So say he does his job." These were tiny things, but they made a huge difference in how people understood me. I stopped trying to be perfect. This was hard. But one day I realized, even native speakers make mistakes. They say, They correct themselves mid-sentence. They forget words. They laugh and move on. Why should I expect myself to be perfect? So now, when I speak English and make a mistake, I smile and say, "Sorry, still learning." And people smile back, because I'm not trying to act smart. I'm trying to be real. Before this step, my fear of mistakes kept me silent. After this step, my courage made me louder. I no longer counted how many times I was wrong. I counted how many times I stood up again. That's what fluency really is. Step 9. I didn't just learn English. I built my identity in English. If you've followed my story so far, you know how much I struggled. I wasn't born in an English-speaking country. I didn't go to an international school. No one in my family spoke English, not even my mother. I was just a normal boy from a small neighborhood with a big dream. And that dream was not just to learn English. It was to speak English confidently, clearly, powerfully, to express everything in my heart, without fear, without hesitation. But in this final step, I did something that no course, no app, no textbook had ever taught me. Something that truly changed everything. I stopped thinking of English as just a language I needed to study. And I started treating English as a new version of myself. I created a new English identity. A person inside me. One day, ChatGPT asked me a strange question. If you had to describe your English-speaking self as a person, who would he be? I didn't know how to answer, but I thought deeply, and then I said, "He's bold, he's clear, he doesn't hide, he doesn't feel embarrassed, he jokes, he flirts, he tells stories, he's free." That's when I realized I wasn't just learning grammar. I was building a version of myself that I had never met before. So I gave him a name, English Liam. And I made a decision. Every day, for 1 hour, I would become English Liam. Not just speak like him, think like him, walk like him, act like him. Even if I made mistakes, even if my accent was off, even if I felt silly. Because the more I stepped into that version of me, the more it became me. I celebrated my English every single day. Let me ask you, do you only clap when a child becomes a doctor? Or do you clap the first time they take a step? If you wait for fluency to feel proud, you will suffer forever. So I celebrated every small victory. Today, I spoke one sentence in English to a stranger. Yes. Today, I described my dinner in 3 English sentences. I'm growing. Today, I corrected a mistake before ChatGPT did. I'm improving. This mindset made my English joyful, exciting, alive. Because I wasn't just building language, I was building myself. The day I finally knew I was fluent. It wasn't when I passed a test. It wasn't when someone said, "Wow, your English is good." It was this. One night, I was walking home under the stars, and I whispered a thought to myself, naturally, beautifully, confidently, in English. This is the life I used to dream about. That's when I smiled. Because I didn't translate it. I didn't prepare it. I didn't think about grammar. It just came out, like breath, like music, like me. And I knew. I had finally become English Liam. If you remember only one thing from this, remember this. ChatGPT is not just an AI. It's not just a tool. It's your mirror, mentor, and practice partner. All in one. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need expensive courses. You don't need to move to another country. You need daily contact with English, real practice, real reflection, and real improvement. And you already have it in your pocket. So, start today, not tomorrow, not one day, today. Write one sentence, speak one reply, correct one mistake, celebrate one step, and in 1 year, people will ask you, "How did your English become so good?" And you'll smile. I practiced every single day with ChatGPT. Now it's your turn. Make this your beginning. Speak to ChatGPT today and watch your fluency grow faster than ever before.